Hello YouTube, it's back. I have my Simplex 2001 completely reconfigured. I added two more zones, two more signal circuits. I reconfigured the slot for the coder card, or the march time card, and I have an OPSP card and a city tie card. I removed all that timed march time and relays and multifunction switch, all that other jazz that really didn't do much of anything except look good. So, 4 zones is obviously 4 zones. It's twice of what I originally had. None of them are cross-zoned. This is where it starts getting fancy. You got 4 signal circuit cards. Both of these are the same, with the exception of one being a little newer and having different style fuse holders. One of them is set to be coded, and one of them is set to be steady. I had to modify one of the cards for that. Also, signal circuit 1 on each of them, so 1 and 3 are silenceable, and signal circuits 2 and 4, the lower ones, are non-silenceable. It could be the upper ones. Don't quote me on that. In this slot is the coder card. I do have a continuous run coder card as well, which does not have the yellow LED on the front, and it will continuously code the code it is set to code. It can also accept a march time card, but the one thing is I had to modify a march time card and completely reconfigure some of the pins inside there to have the coder card and the march time card work in the same spot and worked properly in that same spot. I have a city tie card in this spot that is not completely configured at this time. Same thing with the OPSP card. I believe I would need a 24 volt power supply for the standby power or supervisory power, or whatever it is properly called. What this card does is it has a separate power supply as a backup source instead of having batteries. So OP, or operational power, there's no trouble right now because we have operational power. If that went out, we would be using supervisory power or standby power, whatever the SB stands for, and there would be a second power supply that would be powering the panel with a separate 120 volt AC source. And that card has a transformer on it that would monitor that source, and also a separate loop. So it's all complex stuff I'm still trying to figure out. But I do have it in there, and I will be able to get it working at some point within the next couple months or so. There are no end-of-line resistors at this time. I just have a Simplex 4051 on a 4050-80 light plate. I'm utilizing NACs 1 and 3. NAC 1 is silenceable coded, and NAC 3 is silenceable non-coded. Let me open this up and you can see what's inside. There being no pull stations hooked up at the time, or smoke detectors or heat detectors or anything like that, I have to utilize these switches right here to put it into alarm. The coding option is I got to show you the other coding card at some point to show you the dip switches, but all of the dip switches are up, so it's going to be a very fast pulse. And after a couple rounds of coding, the coding completed light will illuminate and it will stop sounding the horn. The light will stay on steady, and that of course is silenceable with the acknowledge button. Without me going on babbling, let's see the panel in alarm and pulse as it's supposed to. The horn has stopped and the coding completed light has illuminated. It will no longer sound if it goes into alarm. Push the acknowledge button, but not reset the system. The light will turn off. I re-alarm. Light turns back on, but this horn does not sound. The switches back down into normal. I'm going to reset the system. Light turns off. Again, we have all those troubles. Just acknowledge that. Now, another thing, I can throw one zone into alarm, then silence it, and it will still be coding, and I can throw it into alarm and it will continue sounding. As long as I throw it into alarm before the coding completes, it will resound the horn. You can hear the relay still clicking for NAC 2, signal circuit 2. I'm going to throw it into alarm again. And the horn resounds. I don't have any switches on those other two zone cards, so I can't throw those into alarm. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I still need to find the screws for this. It's not completely screwed in. I'm planning to put this on a demo board at some point. I think it would be a nice thing to do. So yeah, that's it for this Workbench system test, I believe number 9. So enjoy, and I hope to see you next week. Depends on how available I am. Happy Fire Alarm Friday.